The way that you prep for a 160 is very different from the way that you prep for a 180. Hey, what's up everybody? Steve Schwartz here from LSAT Unplugged, joining you today to share some major differences in how you prep when you're shooting for a 160 LSAT score versus a 180 LSAT score. Before I get into it, a little bit about LSAT Unplugged. We offer live online classes via Zoom, on-demand video courses, small group coaching, and one-on-one coaching. Check out the links below this video to find out more and to book a call with me and my team. We'd love to help you out. So the reason I'm making this video is that I just got off a call with a student who is currently scoring a 146. Let's call her Jane, not her real name, respecting her anonymity and privacy, but she was shooting for a 146. And Jane was looking to break into the 160s. She said she's got about 2 months to study and she can't stand logic games. Reading comp also gives her trouble. She'd like to focus on LSAT logical reasoning. I said to her, if you're looking for roughly a 15-point increase in 2 months and you're currently at a 146, you don't need to spend a ton of time on games and reading comp. Now, if you're shooting for a 180, that's a very different story. You'd probably want to have more than 2 months if you're looking for a 34-point increase starting at a 146, and you obviously could not neglect games and reading comp. What you could do is focus the majority of your time on logical reasoning, maybe aim for some small quick wins on games and reading comp, but given those constraints, you could get to a 160 or a 161 in just 2 months. But you got to know you're putting a ceiling or a limit on just how much you can improve. If you're looking to put in 15, 20 hours a week and barely touch games and reading comp in a 2-month period, yes, you could get to a 160, 161 starting from a 146. Because if you look at it this way, there are 34 points between a 146 and a 180. And if you're scoring the 140s, there's room to improve significantly on all areas of the exam. And you don't need to devote that time equally across the 3 different sections. If you get a 160 or a 161, law schools do not care what that score was comprised of. If you got perfect on reasoning and virtually nothing right on games versus the opposite, they don't really care. They just want that round number out of 180. And if the school's median is a 160 and you get a 161, slightly above the median, you've got a decent shot of getting in. Obviously, the higher you are above the median, the better your chances are. But Jane has 2 young kids. She has limited time to study for the LSAT. She's also still earning her BA. And so given those time constraints, I said to her, you know what? We could have you focus, put you on a plan with one of my coaches where you're focusing mainly on logical reasoning. You'll get some quick wins on games and reading comp, maybe devote an hour to each section, and then the rest of your time in your coaching program will be focused on logical reasoning if that's what you would like. In contrast, the students I tend to personally work with are aiming for top scores, 170 plus, usually 175 plus. And I would tell them, first, if you're at a 146, do some more work on your end before you start our coaching program together. That way, you'll get a lot more out of our time together. Then, once you're already hitting the 160s, you come back to me and we work on the toughest questions in each section, games, reasoning, and reading comp. Nothing is off limits. To aim for a 180, I want you solving all 4 games, all 4 reading comp passages, even the toughest logical reasoning questions. Then you'll bring me the 3 to 5 hardest LSAT questions you've recently encountered, along with photos of your diagrams and notes, and those will form the agenda for our meeting. But nothing's off limits. We need to get you perfect on games, maybe -1, and then we're going to tackle the toughest logical reasoning and reading comprehension questions together as well to get you down to -2, maybe -3 on each of those sections. But if you want a 170 plus, you've got to get perfect on games or maybe -1, just because games don't have the same ambiguities or perceived ambiguities of language that reasoning and reading comp do. But we can't leave any stone unturned. We've got to tackle it all. Anyway, folks, that's all for now. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please do me a favor, share it with someone who needs to see it. Maybe you know someone aiming for a 15-point increase in 2 months, someone aiming to break into the 160s, or maybe alternatively, you know someone who's aiming for a more significant score increase, aiming to get into the 170s, or even ideally, of course, a 180. If you found this video helpful, just think of what it could do for someone else in your LSAT study group or in your LSAT prep course who's looking for a significant score increase as well. I'd love for this video to reach them as well. I don't do any paid advertising for this channel, rely only on word of mouth to help get the word out. So please take a moment to share the video. It may make a significant difference for someone else in their LSAT prep journey. In the meantime, folks, I wish you all the best and take care.